Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I sound like I just say this over and over again, but it's so important. And it's the two words, self-care. Doing things to take care of yourself, just doing things to support yourself, make yourself feel better, like you actually matter in your life. We're going to continue that talk, that journey, as we uncover self-care for the professional. And she's got more to share with us as the owner and life coach of Effectus. I'm saying that right, Effectus?
Effectual.
Effectual. Thank you very much.
You're
if I had glasses on, I'd be able to see it. Life coaching.
No problem. I got you.
But I know who she is. Millionaire Williams is back with us today. And such great information. Learned so much last time. But there's a lot more to learn. And this is also based on some research as well, right?
Absolutely. And thank you again for having me. How are you doing today?
I'm well, and I know where this is going.
You do know that's the preempt. Yes, you do know.
I did ride my bike the last time we got together. You challenged me on that. And wait for it. 2 days ago, I went kayaking with my friend. Yep, I did some self-care, and you know what? You forget how good it is until you do it. Because
didn't I tell you that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've been just so busy, and I just realized I'm out there, and even though I'm with a friend, so we're doing a lot of life talking.
Right.
And I will say this, no matter what you do when it's with somebody else, could be even your spouse, partner, whatever.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with this, but you are giving part of you to them. So you are taking away. We had a great time, but at the same time, if I was alone, might have been even just that much better because I was in my own zone. Again, we had a great time. Definitely got to go again. Unfortunately, blew a pulley on my Jeep on the way back. So it will be at least until the middle of next week before I go again.
Okay.
But all good, but all good. But yes, again, you don't know how good it is until you're actually doing it. And that's where it's like, wow, yeah, I should have done this a long time ago. So thank you for pushing me onto the bike and more.
Good. You're a great client. I love it. Absolutely. That's why the business name is called Effectual Life Coaching. It's got to be effective.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm so proud of you. Kudos to you. You get an A for the day.
And here's the problem. What am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, and by the way, I will add, I took some time, a couple of days this week, and I went for a quality massage. Really good.
What?
I just randomly found somebody that was available. I did. I'm telling you.
You sound like an Olympic gold champion.
Self-care champ. Self-care champ.
Yes.
Yeah. And even last night, I just, had stuff to do, but chilled on the couch. And tonight, I don't really have any plans. Dinner with somebody. We're going to DoorDash in. We're going to watch a movie, maybe a comedy show. And that's it. Basically.
I am so proud of you. Oh my God, this is amazing.
It's nice doing basically nothing.
So these talks are helping. I'm so glad. This is amazing.
I am fully transparent and completely honest. I'm not making any of this up. This is what transpired. And Sunday, my day is free, but I want to do something beach related because we're near the shore, outdoor, something.
Yes.
Something there.
Yes, because nature is calling you. You have a date with nature somewhere.
100%. And, it's going to get cold soon in these parts. So,
you better take advantage of this right now before it even happens. Absolutely. So I am so proud of you because you knew I was coming for you.
I know.
You know that. You knew that this was going to happen. I thought about you midweek and I was like,
Millionaire, let me tell you something. The biggest workout or challenge of all of that was, and don't laugh, was getting the bike down from the rack. That, there was a lot of strength and effort riding it. That was the easy part.
Right. I love it.
So how about you tomorrow? Are you going to have your Saturday spa day?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's like breathing oxygen. Yes.
So I want to ask you a question, and we're going to move from this, but I'm curious.
Yes, sir.
About routines and rituals that we do. You do that every Saturday. It's your time. Right. It's like a spa day in the bathroom.
Right.
Do the tub, the bath and all of that. Do you change it up Or do you even need to change it up? What do I mean by that? Well, maybe, I'm going to grab a different candle, different fragrance. By the way, I forgot I had this one. Somebody sent it to me.
Mm.
Oh man, that's so good. And I'm not even kidding. Like I feel
Right,
relaxed even
right. Oh,
smelling
I can
that.
imagine. Absolutely.
But do you change it up like, different music or
Yeah,
do you need,
I
or do you not need
do.
to?
I sometimes I do the rose petals, sometimes I don't. I
Okay.
do the Epsom salt, sometimes I don't. So I do change it up, and sometimes I have a glass of wine, sometimes I have water, sometimes
Okay.
I have tea, sometimes I have coffee, sometimes I read a book because I've got my little
Mm,
thingamajigam that's right there. I can't even think of the name of it, but it sits there in between on the tub and has all my items right there, a little spot for your glass of wine that you can put in,
mm.
and my spa soap. And
Wow.
sometimes I will sit back and just watch a Netflix movie and laugh and have fun with myself. Me, my time, I call it. So yeah, I do change it up,
Okay.
at different times. So yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I think it also gives us something to look forward to.
Oh, it
Of course, you're
does.
looking forward to the time, but by that I mean look forward to, just found this wine and I can't wait
Yeah,
to try it. I'm gonna pop it, when I'm
right,
in the tub. Or there's a show on. I can't wait to, see how it's
right.
gonna end. So
Yes,
just, keeping it, I guess
all the
keeping it
above.
fresh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the candles, all of that. Yes.
Mm,
Bring it on in. Yes,
beautiful.
absolutely. All the above.
All right. So
Okay.
healthcare for the
I know.
professionals.
Yes, yes,
How
yes.
do we pick up from our journey last time we talked?
Yeah, the last time we were talking about the different oh, that brain cell went there. Factors that affect health and longevity.
Sure.
And with that being said, there are different factors. And with that, I'll give you an example. One is like, the research shows that behavior is 53% that has to do with our health and our longevity of how long we're going to be here. And I just don't want to be here, Steve. If the God in heaven said, Million, you're going to live to 120 years of age. Well, okay. But what's the quality of my life? That's key critical. So
Mm-hmm.
living longer, but not having a quality of life, I'm not about it. So I'm all
100%.
about having a quality of lifestyle each day that I wake up. And then healthcare is like 10%, and genetics is 16%, environment 21%. So I'm reading these for my presentation. But the thing that I want to talk about today, and I am going to read, so audience, please just bear with me half a second. I want to throw out some stats there. And it says that 7 out of 10 Americans die of preventable chronic diseases. The key word that I want people to hear in this is preventable.
Mm, mm,
Some diseases that we suffer with, yes, genetics. And I also made mention of this last time as well. Say if there's hypertension in your family or diabetes and some of these chronic diseases that, we live with here. Well, diabetes, you can kind of curb your appetite, have a healthier appetite during the day, during the week, into the month, into the years. I'm looking at consistency here,
yep.
and the exercise plan. So you can actually change your numbers, your lab readings, your blood work, your A1C numbers, which is associated with how they know whether a person has diabetes or not. You can change that. So that can be a preventable disease. Same thing with hypertension. Hypertension, trust me, the more stresses that you have in your life, your external environment, your blood pressure.
Mm,
Each time that adrenaline pumps and you're upset about stuff, you're disturbed by stuff, you're arguing, and if you've got this chaotic, toxic relationship you're in, get out of it. But anyway, you have to know that those things are affecting your internal organs. And, when we look at ourselves in the mirror and, we're doing makeup or shaving or getting a hair or whatever, we don't ever stop to think, Steve, we have a heart inside that's pumping blood up and down, flowing throughout our veins, our blood vessels. We don't think about the internal organs of our body and the things that are going on. We just look at this outer shell, we put clothes on, we as women, makeup or whatever, whomever, whatever you're doing, and we just go, but we don't stop to think about, I wonder how my blood pressure is. I wonder how my liver is functioning today.
Mm.
I wonder how my intestines is, my gut, the gut brain they talk about. You got two brains up here in your gut brain. I wonder if when I'm eating, if my food is digesting properly. We don't think about that stuff, Steve. We just go as human beings. That's just we're programmed. And so again, the self-care, you have to stop and say to yourself, if I want to have a quality of life, there are things that I must do. That go back to the word regimen. There are things we have to impart in our everyday lives in order to secure our future and our health, because we all matter and we're all worth it. And you owe that to yourself first, but you owe that to your family members. You owe that to people around you, your friends, your loved ones, And then also with these statistics, 6,000 people die each year because of sleepy drivers. That can be preventable. People are not getting their proper sleep in our world today. They're just not. Again, the busyness, the demands on life, but you have to stop and be intentional.
Yeah.
As I stated before, Steve, I'm like that hyper driven, and I know that's my A-type personality. I probably got A plus, triple plus on steroids personality. Okay. And when I wake up, I hit the pavement. I'm gone. I've like already traveled to the moon by 9 o'clock in the morning. But the thing is, I realize with my personality type, Steve, I have to get my rest every night. And I generally do my best to be in the bed like 9 o'clock. I mean, my body wants to shut down at 9, and it's like, I don't care what's going on. So you need to have a shutdown time of the world, constantly taking in phone calls all night long. You're getting ready to go to bed. No, have a shutdown time. Tell the world, no, it's me. I am taking care of this here.
It can wait. It can wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it's an emergency, call 911, because
Right.
I'm not a doctor.
I was just going to say the only difference is if you're a doctor and
Right.
somebody needs something,
Right.
and it's critical,
Yes.
I'm going into the OR, whatever it might be.
Yes.
But
Yes.
short of that,
Yes.
wait, it can wait.
Yeah. And then being on the phone all night long. I work with some teens, and it's like, they'll take their phones to bed and they're still up the whole night scanning through that phone. They're not sleeping.
So true.
Sleep is so imperative. I mean, these things that we take for granted, that we don't place importance and don't place a priority on, oh my God, it's like people.
You described, I think, just about every teen in America right now, because they're, especially summer, school's already started in some parts, but it's erratic sleep schedules, and they're just on their devices, like just nonstop, and then go to sleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And then it's got to change around when school starts. It's, and how do you function? No wonder
you can't. Yeah.
So many teens are having trouble. I mean, there's a mental health crisis as per the CDC right now.
It is. It is.
And why? Because of, I'm sure, a lot of that, not enough sleep, proper nutrition, all of it, all of the above.
And again, we talked about water.
Yep.
Drinking enough water. These are very basic functions of life, but we have just solely moved away from these things in life that keep us just basic health.
That's the
health.
Isn't that funny, Millionaire? That is the basics that we're talking about that we ignore. Take care of yourself. It's okay. Drink enough. Hey, might want to sleep well. Might want to eat well. Just a thought. It's basic stuff.
Yep. Alcohol abuse is the #1 overall cause of all accidents. Wow. If you know you're drinking a little bit more for the evening, do not drive. Uber. do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And even pulling that layer back, well, if you're drinking that much, also you got to think about your liver. Cirrhosis of the liver, it can be avoided, it can be prevented. These things are, mindsets that we have got to step up, and we've got to change our mental narratives that we carry internally and realize we got to make some changes here. And the other thing, Steve, I want to just touch on slightly before we leave our audience is I've created what's called 8 dimensions of wellness. And those 8 dimensions of wellness look physical, emotional, mental, social, environment, occupational, spiritual, and financial. Those are pretty much the categories of life that all of us function in. And when you think of physical, the physical activity definitely denotes your quality of life. You've probably heard this before, but exercise is medicine to the body. I know in our Western culture, we talked about big pharma, and it's like take another pill, take another pill, take another pill, take another pill, take another pill. And we've become that lifestyle as well.
And I have to be honest, I'm feeling it because I usually go to the gym every day.
Oh, great.
5 days a week. Haven't in weeks. Been busy. One day I pop in, one day not.
Right.
Something has felt a little off, like just in general. And I think it's that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting when you get into habits, you can get into a habit of going to the gym, and you always do.
Right.
And get into the habit of not, where I'm at now. You know what? I'm going to sleep a little later. I'm going to work from home for an hour when I normally would go in. Take a little time. But that has become my habit. Not a good one. Going to switch it back, but it's very easy to get into that.
Yeah. Steve, and let me tell you, and it's doubly hard to get back on track even. You know what I mean? It's so easy to slip off. And again, like we've had conversations before, the level of demand that is on everyone today, it's, so you almost have to force your mind to do things that create a regimen of self-care. Because again, you've got to be here, you've got to be there, you've got to get on this meeting, you've got to go here, they're calling you there, the phone is ringing, someone's calling you, they're texting you, this is all day long, the pull of life, and everybody is feeling it. I don't care how much money you have, I don't care how much money you don't have, I don't care where you live or where you don't live, everybody is feeling the pull of life.
It's so true.
And then let's not even talk about the sedentary lifestyle. So if you're working in an office and you're sitting all day, and as I shared with the audience before, I suffered with sciatica really bad, and that had to do with me going back to school as an adult, sitting in the evening after work for hours and not getting up periodically to stretch, to move, the upper, the lower back. And before you know it, I was there in physical therapy, and thank God I had one to bring me out. So Steve, even with, as I shared, my husband and I riding bikes every day, and we've been doing that since August 1st, each day. We're doing it 6 days a week. So, and we do our stretches after. I haven't had any back aches, and I used to go to physical therapy for my lower back. So stretching those muscles are creating a whole nother quality of life for myself. And I'm like, oh my goodness, because I didn't want to take the pills. So I'm like, okay, let me go to physical therapy. But still, most of the times when you go to physical therapy, they're going to have you come consistently 2 or 3 times a week. So now your time, is being pulled. And so I'm like, oh
and what
my
would you
God.
rather do? Be on a bike and in nature and beautiful summer air, feel all of that, where you're also getting exercise, or go to physical therapy where they're just centering on one situation. You're spending the same amount of time. You're not getting the full benefits of a workout that you're getting with the bike. No brainer. But we don't know it until we talk about it, because it doesn't. because we get in these
Yeah.
routines. And I guess it comes down to healthy habits. Everything's a habit.
Yeah, it
You got to get
is.
into a healthy one.
Yeah. And the other one is emotional, which is like a real big one.
Yeah.
That your emotions, some people, they make their decisions on emotions as opposed to being analytical, objective about it.
Mm-hmm.
Their emotions just carry all the thought process. And that's not a healthy way of making decisions in life. Because normally when your emotions are activated, good, better, and different, if you're angry and you're making decisions, well, happy emotions, I guess, are good and making good decisions. But still, you may cloud some things and not really see objectively to really, and then you go back and say, oh, wow, I shouldn't have done that. Well, maybe if you had stepped back, kind of analyzed, because my thought process when I'm making decision on certain things, I usually go through a whole kind of rigmarole up in my brain. And it's like, okay, if I do this, and how is it going to affect A? How is it going to affect B? Because when we make decisions, you got to know it affects everybody around you one way or the other, good, better, and different. But when you make decisions, your family gets affected by it. So how is this going to affect my kids, my partner, my spouse, people on my job, depending on the type of, decision that you've got to make. So, that's where emotional intelligence is so important. And that's one of my key ones that I elaborate with my clients that, it's not a conversation that we've had a long time here in our communities, but emotional intelligence is a very vital, very critical to who we are, how we do life, how we treat people, how we treat ourselves. And having control of your emotions is very important because we see the world in which we live, people are just like, boom. I mean, they don't care. They're just out there, whether it disturbs you, and not even taking in consideration other people's feelings. And I know I serve here. We live in a HOA and beautiful community here in Texas. And I'm on the HOA committee. And we had a meeting the other night, and someone from the community on our Facebook post, whatever, what was some of the things that came from the meeting? Well, we weren't able to have a quorum because everyone wasn't able to be there, but I went on to say, I'm here as a servant to be a voice for the community. I said, but with that being said, let me establish some healthy boundaries for those of you that want to engage with me in conversation so you know who I am. I respect you. I need you to respect me. I'm a very mature adult and I operate in emotional intelligence. And if you don't know what that means, please contact me because I will certainly give you a dissertation. So when you pose questions to me or you want information from me regarding the community in which we live and that I'm here to serve, and I do it wholeheartedly, and it's an opportunity, a pleasure, and an honor to serve. But please, no, don't send me stuff on Facebook that's not within respectful boundaries because
I was just going to say the word boundaries.
yeah, you got it.
Yeah. It's
I'm
like you're doing for the greater good, dedicating your time.
Yes.
And there's different personalities that come into play, and there's a lot going on there, but you still have to have the boundaries.
Oh yeah. So I think they clearly understood. I said, I'm not speaking for the entire committee. However, but when you're engaging with Millionaire Williams, I need you to know who she is. Okay. So as long as we can have respectable, mature, adult conversations, I'm your girl now. So, yeah.
I feel your pain and situation because I was on the board of an HOA.
Oh, okay. So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I even yeah.
Ooh,
became
what I'm talking about.
The vice president just so because there was so much, it was so chaotic that I just need to did I want to? No, but I'd like to hang a plant in front of my front door.
Right.
like little things like that, but whatever.
Yeah.
So the emotional, I don't want to run out of time. Woof.
I know. So, and I want to read this because this is really good about the emotional dimension of wellness. Emotional wellness involves the ability to understand your own feelings, accept your limitations, and achieve emotional stability. That is very important. And you ask this question, what type of stability comes with emotional wellness? That could look different for everyone, but and what are some differences in emotionally well people and those that are not stable? And and I'm not talking about the whole spectrum of mental health disorders type things, but I'm talking about people that have, they're still acting like they're 2 years of age and having fits when they're adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's not emotional intelligence. And it doesn't serve the greater good, and it doesn't serve you either. So, yeah, we got to work on some things. Yeah.
It's funny when we talk about that right away, I could just think of a few people.
Yes. Yes.
And the way they handle situations, and
yes.
and you cut some latitude. Sometimes things happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we don't have time. Me and my circle of friends have a friend that we had to just say,
yes, go and live your life, and it's okay.
And we tried. Yeah. Love her.
Oh,
just can't.
Yes.
She doesn't. She
Yeah.
takes no responsibility for anything. And we just had to and she actually texted me and another friend yesterday trying to come back into the circle. And it's just like that. There's where the boundary comes up, because it just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah. And you really have to guard your heart, guard your emotions, and guard your thoughts. And people will try to come and dump.
Yep. It's like emotional vampire. So
Steve, I like that. When I'm after you, can I use that? I'll give you credit for emotional vampires.
They want to take everything away from you. They're just sucking your energy out of you, and just
Steve.
and they thrive on that.
Oh God, I love that. You know what? You are just right on the day.
It just popped in my head. I just had the visual of this, like
emotional vampires. I've got to use that one. I'm telling you, it's too good.
I'm not one though. Trust me. I don't want to.
No, you're not. Oh no, I wouldn't even be able to be here with you if you
insane. I don't detect that at all. We are at a time, and
we are.
They're going to cut us off. Yeah, I know we didn't. We hit them, but we didn't go into depth on each one of the 8. I want to talk about you. If somebody's going through challenges, not dealing with the self-care thing the way they should be, even on a life coaching level, professionally or personally, just trying to figure this whole life thing out, where do we find you?
Yes, the phone number is 661-341-0730. And my website is effectuallifecoaching.com. And as I've stated, I'm on Google. You type in my name, Millionaire Williams, I'll pop up with about 8 or 9 pages. So you can find me. I am in the global network. Please call me so we can get you to a safe, healthy space in life where you're living your best and leveraging yourself and doing those great things that you deserve. Steve, it's always a pleasure.
Same thing here. Why would you not want to live that life? I don't know. So make the call. It starts with a conversation, and see where it goes from there. Millionaire, thank you so much for being here today.
All right, sir. You have a great week.
You too. Enjoy the tub tomorrow, by the way.
I'm going to. Yes.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.